Things are looking bad right now. Rates are up, inventory is starting to rise, and headlines were saying that the market is about to crash. So with all this negative sentiment out there, prices should have come down, right? But they haven't. And if you're thinking about buying right now, this is where a lot of people get stuck. Because what's actually happening in the Charlotte area is that the housing market is very different from what people are expecting. Today, I'm going to break down exactly why prices haven't dropped and what that means for you if you're looking to buy right now. My name is Cameron. I work with buyers and relocation clients here in Charlotte every single week, and I hear all the time about how people are going to wait things out, and in my opinion, that's not a great plan. Let's start with the expectation most people had. When mortgage rates jumped from the 3% range all the way up to the 6-7% range, a lot of people assumed that the housing market was going to be corrected and really plummet. And theoretically, that makes sense. Higher rates means less affordability, which would lead to lower demand, causing prices to drop. That's how it should work. But Charlotte didn't really follow that script. Yes, the market slowed down compared to the frenzy of 21 and even in 2022, when we saw mortgage rates jump from 3% all the way up to 7% during the course of a year. We had an appreciation rate of 10% on average during that time. So the question becomes, why didn't Charlotte see the kind of price drop people were expecting? The first major reason is something that continues to shape this market more than almost anything else. And that is that people are still moving to Charlotte. Charlotte has consistently ranked as one of the fastest growing cities in the Southeast and report 157 people net moving here every single day. A large percentage of buyers here aren't local, they're relocating. I know that I've talked about this before in previous videos, but we have worked with a lot of people coming from places like New York, New Jersey, California, and Florida. And when those buyers arrive, they're often bringing higher purchasing power with them. So even if local demand softens slightly, relocation demand continues to support our prices. Now, let me put that in context. If someone is selling a home in a high cost market and moving to Charlotte, spending $700,000 to $900,000 here may still feel like a great value to them. So while affordability might be tight for some local buyers, it still looks attractive to buyers coming from more expensive areas. And with that constant inflow of buyers, it helps stabilize our pricing. The second reason prices haven't dropped is tied directly to the job market. Charlotte isn't just growing, it's growing in the right industries as well. So you've got major employers like Bank of America, Truist Financial, along with expansion in the fintech field, healthcare and energy space. All that comes with wage growth as well. I know recently people have been fearful as some of these companies have been having layoffs lately, like Wells Fargo here, but overall, our local economy is doing really good compared to the national average. We're just sitting at about 3.6% unemployment, which is good. So with this type of wage and job growth, incomes rise with that, and so buyers can absorb the higher monthly payments even with the higher interest rates. So instead of buyers disappearing from the market, they're just shifting what they're looking for. Maybe they're buying slightly less house, maybe they're putting more down, or maybe they're looking at a different area. They've definitely become way more picky in the past couple of months, but at the end of the day, they're still buying. And that's a big reason why prices haven't corrected the way many people expected. Now, this is probably the biggest factor. There are just simply not enough homes for sale, and that is a big reason what people call the lock-in effect. Millions of homeowners had bought their home or refinanced when rates were in 3%, and we still have over 50% of homeowners with a sub 4% interest rate. And I should say that this number is going to be turning over quickly, but the truth of the matter is a lot of homeowners still have a sub 4% interest rate. But anyway, these sellers, if they do sell today and buy another home, they're likely stepping into a mortgage that's double what they currently have. So a lot of homeowners are choosing to stay put. Makes sense. And when fewer people sell, inventory stays low. And when inventory stays low, prices don't fall the same way that people expect. This is probably one of the most misunderstood parts of today's market. People assume rising inventory automatically means falling prices. But in Charlotte, inventory is still relatively tight compared to historical norms. Now, because I enjoy playing devil's advocate, you could argue that we're just seeing the start of what's being dubbed as the silver tsunami. And that is when the boomer generation is soon to unload all their properties and flood the market with inventory that will cause home prices to drop. But with the conversations that I have locally here every day, I firmly believe that this will take a lot more time than what it's being made out to be. It's very hard for these people to leave the homes that they've been in for 20 plus years. And, yes, this will happen, but a lot of these sellers look around just like we do at the prices, and it's even harder for them to justify a change because maybe they bought their 3,000 square foot home for 200K. So when they look at a 1,500 square foot home selling for 800,000, they're gonna be a little bit slower to do that. But ultimately, I would not let this impact your decision to make a move because like I said, this could take years to actually mature. But another factor people assume will drive prices down is new construction. The thinking is builders are putting up a lot more homes, so supply should increase, but in reality, buyers have been much more cautious this cycle than they were previously. Even though it seems like everywhere you look in Charlotte, there's a new community being built, builders are not flooding the market. They're controlling supply carefully, pacing construction, and often building based on demand. A lot of these communities aren't even allowing their sales reps to sell certain lots until they have cleared all their existing inventory. And in many cases, new construction is being sold at a premium, especially in desirable areas. So instead of pushing prices down, new construction is often helping support higher price points. So what we're seeing here now in Charlotte isn't a crash. It's kind of more of a reset. So the frenzy's gone. Buyers aren't waiving every contingency out there, and homes aren't flying off the market in 24 hours like they were in 2021. But prices are holding because the underlying fundamentals here in Charlotte are still very strong. We got population growth, job growth, limited inventory, and a steady demand, which is everything that you want to see. The market here is definitely slowing, but it isn't collapsing. So what does all of this actually mean if you're thinking about buying in Charlotte? It means that your decision isn't as simple as, should I wait for prices to drop, rates to go down, whatever excuse you got, because prices may not drop in a significant way, neither may the interest rate as we've been seeing. So instead, the better question is, does buying actually make sense for you right now? I always break it down into three things. One, does it align with your long-term goals? So do you intend on staying in the area for 5, 10, maybe even 20 years? Two, are you able to make the move? You don't want to overstretch your budget where you're going to be living paycheck to paycheck just to pay off your monthly mortgage. And three, do you want to move? Because it actually does take a lot of effort. So I'm not here to shy away from the fact that moving is a huge commitment. But if you're trying to figure out whether buying right now or waiting makes sense for you in your situation, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to walk you through the numbers with you. And if you want more breakdowns of the Charlotte housing market, neighborhoods, and relocation strategy, I post new videos about Charlotte every single week. And in my next video, I'm gonna be breaking down whether it actually makes sense to buy now or wait in this market. See you next time.